This video is gonna be... Well, someone was sharing with me how annoyed they were at the government's version of what they're calling as reality. But while they were sharing, I could see just how angry they were and how much hate they carried. So that's really the reason for this video. You know, putting out any type of hate, you know, to the governments or whoever or whatever else, you'd actually be compromising your own energy. You'd also be dishonoring yourself, while also adding more weakness to you. And what you may not also realize is that you'll be unknowingly empowering them by even maintaining that type of energy, that hatred, that frequency. And you'll only be giving yourself more things to be annoyed about, more things that keep you distracted, and still not get the full picture of what's really going on a quantum level by using that linear mind. So why even keep yourself attached to those distorted realities? Feeding your lower emotions into those meaningless, senseless, disconnected misperceptions of the minds of those ununified collectives which you call governments. In another way, you're also not seeing that you can still be triggered by things. But then is it not you that's still drawn to those, or backwards, chaotic realities? The thing is, it's about where you're choosing to function from. The energy that you're transmitting out. The being that you're choosing to be. That really is the point. As you're either creating something new, by functioning from a balanced, harmonic, unified, peaceful state, or you're recreating something old. And instead choosing to be a destructive force. Hate is holding really a lot of heavy density, dense energy. But the thing is, it's from within you. It shouldn't even really matter what those governments do. It only matters what you do. The direction that you're choosing to go in. What you're open to experience. But you would need to transcend those old third and fourth dimensional programming to ascend into much higher, greater soul, cosmic aligned realities. And those other timelines. But if you're gonna choose to point fingers, put out hate and judge, then in another way, you're not seeing what you're creating for yourself. And also not be aware that the battle is taking place within you. So rather than further compromising your own energy, why not instead take your power back? Begin a new chapter, start afresh. Because the thing is, if you see that you no longer share the same vision as they do, they being the governments, as to what life is, and have already decided that, they're being careless, irresponsible, or even reckless with the message that they have been ordered to put out, a direction that they are nudging people to go in, well, stop supporting it. Stop feeding your energy and your focus into it. Those governments are only messengers of another group of collectives, which some refer to as leaders, who have been sort of busy pushing out their own agendas, their own schedules, their own plans and appear to have some sort of distorted or twisted view, that many will just simply agree to follow such things, to create a unnatural inorganic world. And it's all only to do with their own newer upgraded control system, a new way to dominate others, not a way to freedom. Actually, I'll do a separate video on that, but freedom is becoming fully conscious, evolving your physical body's DNA, not being partly asleep and still being led. So, should you choose to still or continue to get caught up in your own hate, then you're not really then creating any foundation for your own reality. And as a reminder, everything begins with love. The heart needs to be wide open. How are you to shifting consciousness if you're still holding on to an old version of yourself that still likes to play in having hostility, resentment, contentment, loathing, ill will? Hate creates more hate. Those things would need to be resolved within you, as it would be you that's carrying that heaviness, or a heaviness that would directly cause you the suffering, as we need to be responsible for our own outer transmissions. We need to be directly responsible for ourselves, because then what are we being the representation of? What are we representing? You cannot come into love if you're choosing to hate. You'd still be controlled by your own limits, your own limitations, your own blocks. You'd be keeping yourself separate from that pure, divine, sacred inner connection of the purity of that love, by still choosing to be in duality, still choosing to hate. Thank you for listening. We'll be doing some more videos soon. And thank you to all those who have chosen to subscribe.